Build creative confidence. Beat the inspiration addiction. Join the Writer's Gym. I've been asked the same question in 2 workshops and 1 pub this week, and it was phrased slightly differently, but only slightly. And that question was around, but don't you have to be inspired? Don't you have to wait for inspiration before you write? And when one of the people in the workshop asked it, her answer came about not through me saying anything, but through her doing her first warm-up as a Writer's Gym participant. And what she found through taking one of those prompts and through understanding through what she was doing, there is no wrong answer. That's something that I say very clearly beforehand. You are going in there to discover. You are going in there to play. You've got this word or this picture, whatever the prompt happens to be at the time. And in the next 8 minutes, you're going for a walk in your head. That's really what you're doing. As a writer, you've got your unique artist palette, you've got your memory, you've got your imagination, you've got your observations, you've got your questions about the world and our place in it. And all of that is unique, and all the way you can mix those is unique. So here's the hard bit. The hard bit is the permission. It is realizing that just like painters don't think, oh, I couldn't possibly mix that bit of red with that bit of purple because my mum might not like it, or my dad might be angry, or somebody I haven't seen for 30 years might remember something differently. We don't need any of that. All we need is curiosity, and only we can give ourselves that permission. But my job is to bring that permission a bit closer. It's to get people into the zone where they feel safe with me and at that workshop table, literal table or Zoom table, to see what happens next, not to decide what happens next, to see what happens next. And that's the way in. So the question that I was asked about inspiration, that person answered herself by finding it, by mixing imagination and memory in who knows what quantities, and finding something that got her curiosity and kept her writing. And what I saw behind her eyes at the end of that warm-up was completely different to what I saw before it. She was nervous. She was looking for a right and wrong answer from me. She was looking for an is this all right? And then she started having fun. And then she started mixing the colours uniquely. And it's beautiful how the who am I supposed to be wall crumbles, disintegrates, disperses, dissipates. And what's left is a much truer you. And I experience this every day when I'm enjoying writing. And when I'm not enjoying writing, it's because I haven't been writing long enough. So with that person in that warm-up, that's one way it worked. Another way was a very old friend saying to me, not for the first time, but what if you're not inspired? You can't always be inspired. Surely you can't always be inspired. And the answer is no. You can't always be inspired when you arrive at the table. But what you can do is understand the relationship between inspiration and perspiration. That's why there's a writer's gym. When I'm inspired, I have a good idea, and maybe I have a first draft, and maybe I start writing for a minute, and maybe I start writing for 10 minutes. But regardless of all of that, what's really going on is that I'm getting ideas down. I'm doing something very important called thinking on the page. I've stopped thinking in my head, and I've started thinking on the page where I can develop things. And when I think on the page, that's when the creativity really happens. Whatever percentage is inspiration and whatever percentage is perspiration, I'm moving it forward. And I promise you, if you work on 100% inspiration, you're still going to rewrite. You're still going to come back and do more of it. So here is what I do. I have a landing pattern. And maybe you already have a landing pattern, and maybe you haven't worked out what yours is yet, or maybe you know. But here's a bit of my landing pattern. It does involve the right music. It does involve the right coffee. There are summoning rituals that if I start moving around, sometimes physically around towards my desk, sometimes it is a little bit of tidying. Maybe that's procrastination, but maybe it's not. Maybe it's the landing, and you come into yourself and into your zone. And then finally, I've got my headphones on and I'm here, and I've got my notes from when I was walking and was inspired, and this idea was there and that idea was there, and maybe they're all in my phone notebook. And I put it together, and something absolutely wonderful is there for me. And sometimes I access it faster than other times, and sometimes more deeply than other times. But I'm always moving that envelope every day. There's always a little bit more out of my head and in the world than there was the day before. And that is why, if you take one thing from today, I hope it's think on the page. I hope it's give yourself permission. I hope it is get curious about what is in there. Whatever you're writing, as long as you're thinking on the page, as long as you're not trying to write a perfect final draft before you've written the first draft, as long as you're not stealing that wonderful, enjoyable process from yourself, then if there's a right answer, you're finding it. Of course, we know there are no wrong answers, but your right answers are unique. So think on the page, whether you call it inspiration or whether you call it perspiration. It all comes together in something absolutely unique. You've visited The Writer's Gym with author and coach Dr Rachel Knightley. Production and sound design are by Ashley Lexine, and theme music is by Chris Gregory. To join a Writer's Gym workout online or in London, as a guest or as a member, visit writersgym.com or email thewritersgym@rachelknightley.com.